Up next on the engine build, we got the pistons and we got the cylinders. Gonna take things apart here, get things looked at, get things cleaned up. These pistons are pretty dirty. The one was rusty. Gonna get a good look at everything. Gonna get everything all cleaned up, just like the cylinder head. Once it's now that it's all cleaned up and vapor home, I figured a cylinder might as well match. Might as well make it look good. Get that top end all polished, make it shine. Might as well. So yeah, pistons, as you can see, a little dirty. See here on this one, the piston rings are actually stuck 100% in the ring bore. Where the slot is for the piston ring there, the rings are totally in there. They haven't sprung out because they're stuck. They get stuck from carbon over years of use. You can see how the carbon has come down past the top ring. Same thing pretty much on that one. That one's loose. That one's loose. These two are not looking so good. The pistons themselves are totally fine. Just need to clean up the ring gaps, clean up the piston rings, get everything looking a whole lot better, and then we'll be good to go. That's the nicest thing. Nice thing about these old Honda parts. You can really just clean them up, give them a good washing, get everything cleaned up and really put back together correctly like it was originally from Honda. It's not hard, guys. You just got to take it apart and clean it. Once you get stuff clean, it works a whole lot better. It's kind of why I like taking these older engines apart anyway, not just putting fuel to them and seeing if they'll run. They're gonna run, I would almost guarantee it, but they're not gonna run good. They're gonna kind of hit and miss and pop and fart and bang, and it's not just gonna rev up like a Honda should. This thing should rev to the moon pretty much as soon as you touch that throttle. Pow! That's what it should do. That's what this one's gonna do. Especially with some goodies and some boost. Yeah, boost. So if you can see down here on the bottom, this is the cam chain tensioner that goes on the front side of the engine. This up here is where the tensioner assembly actually goes in on the back side of the engine. This is just the guide assembly that goes on the front. And what I was saying, if you guys watched on Ep.8 when I was taking the motor apart, that this came out in one piece. Comes out up here. I've seen these come apart broken in the past. Not sure really why they break, but they can at times. And they have to come out while they're in the cylinder. It comes out when you pull the cylinder off. See this pin down here on the bottom? This pin pushes out. Okay. Then this assembly slides up, comes out from the top. This is the guide assembly that goes on the front. This one looks great, actually. Doesn't even look worn at all. Looks absolutely perfect, really. So, that looks awesome. That can go over here for right now. We'll put this back in the way it came apart. Just like that. And then, oh yeah, you can see down there on the bottom, been some critters in there. Those are oil drain backs. Those are all looking good. That'll all get cleaned up, of course. These cylinders are looking wonderful too. This one, just a little bit of crust down in here because that was the one that was just a little bit rusty on top. You can see, just that last little bit on top had a little bit of rust in it. Just right there. That's going to clean up, I'm pretty sure, because you can see that one's slightly dirty too. That's not really all rust, that's just carbon. The piston doesn't actually come up all the way. If you notice on all of them, see this one's nice and clean. The piston stops right about there. It doesn't come all the way to the top. When you stroke an engine, you're gaining that little extra bit, which helps it squish more, which helps you raise your compression, which helps the engine rev up quicker, which just makes more horsepower. That's not what we're going for here. That's not what Honda was looking for from the get-go. Well, I can even see in that one, I can still see the cross-hatching on the cylinders. Yeah, this set of cylinders is going to work great. As you can see, we got all our seals up here too. Got our O-rings, got our oil drain back seals. These right here, or we're missing that one there. It must be out in the shop. As you see here, these guys are where these studs come up through to hold the cylinder down. All these, all the way across. These right here with the oil, this is not just an O-ring, it's an oil seal that goes around this. And on the later models, it was a little different because they figured out they just needed to seal everything up a little better with when they warm up and get hot. Things leak a little bit, but these work a whole lot better. So you can see that's an oil seal that fits down inside there. The new gasket kit will come with all these new gaskets, but these are actually looking great. New head gasket's going to go on here once I get this cleaned up. Yeah, looking real good, guys. Awesome. Nope, here's the other one. It was down here stuck to my peg mat. Once again, trying to use the peg mats, keep stuff clean. Got my nice surgical ones over here once we get things all cleaned up. As you see, we got the good clean head, good clean carbs ready to bolt on down there, along with turbocharger. So once we get this all cleaned up, put this back here so we don't lose it. Everything will get categorized over here. I usually lay everything out, categorize, number everything. I like to, since this is a engine build that has been together for quite some time, I like to put it back together the way it came apart. So the more I can number things, the more I can really help myself remember exactly how everything goes together. It always helps. Always helps a lot. Okay, and actually since this piston is dirty and sticky and these rings are stuck in there, I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, which is going to be the next place we go here. We need to open up these ring gaps for boost. The ring gaps must be open. You can see that's the gap right there. It's a little bitty gap. Little bitty gap there. And a little bitty gap right there. If you guys can see it. Those gaps need to be opened up to about twice that size. When the cylinders heat up, they tend to expand, which closes the bore just a little bit, which closes this ring gap up. If the ring gap is not big enough in here, if this is not big enough right here, the top of the piston will break. I've done it. I've seen it happen. I've seen many other people that it's happened to. Basically, the piston ring needs to be able to expand in the ring groove. It needs to be able to slide and expand. If it can't expand more than enough, it closes that gap. It breaks the piston. The piston goes away. That's the end of that. That's usually the problem with boosted motors is the top end gets too hot. The top of the piston gets too hot. It starts to change a little bit. It starts to burn those rings. And if that can't get past there and just get into the crankcase and cool down and go away, it breaks the piston. No good. End of story. No more boost. Last time it happened to me, I melted a piston on my FZR. Had the wastegate set up wrong. Had an extra spring in there that I wasn't really quite sure about. Didn't test the opening pressure. Even I totally should have, but I didn't. I think we recorded 28 pounds of boost on that one when it took off the starting line. It made almost 30 pounds of boost and destroyed one of the pistons, melted the bejezo out of it. It blew all that 28 pounds of boost in the crankcase. All the oil came out. It came out of everywhere it could have. Man, it was a smoke show. I don't really think much got on the track that day because it just blew oil all over me and the bike. The track was okay, luckily. There wasn't really much cleanup. They just went out and checked it. Everything was good. But man, I learned that day, don't let your ring gaps touch. Otherwise, poof, it goes away. That hit that day on the FZR Turbo right out the gate. Maybe within the first 40 feet, it destroyed that piston. So 40 feet of 28 pounds of boost, if you're not tuned for it, that was the problem. It was tuned for, I think, about 14 pounds, and there was just enough fuel there to take care of that. The boost just went crazy as soon as I took off. Yeah, that was the end of that. The ring gaps have to be opened up, guys. So once again, we're going to clean up all these pistons, get the ring gaps open, and actually you can see here, this one is open. See how big it is when it opens? It is the number 4 piston, but you can see here, see the big gap? When it opens up, there's a big gap. And you can see when I squeeze it down, see how it closes up when I squeeze it down? So when it's in the bore, it's almost all the way closed, which it is right here. That's what it's going to look like in the bore. And I want it to be I actually want just a little less gap than that. So I want it to look like that when it's in the bore. I want a nice fat gap so the pistons can expand, the rings can expand, because it looks like a big gap, but when that ring expands, it'll almost close that up. I would almost guarantee it. That's the cool thing about Boost. Boost takes over and changes everything, and that's why it works so good. Yeah. Okay, guys. What we're cooking up for tonight in the kitchen. Got the ultrasound fired up. Ultrasound is wonderful for just pulling off debris, grease. I'm kind of hoping the ultrasound, with the happy wiggles and vibrations, hopefully gets down here and cleans these piston rings loose. I kind of picked at that one for a minute. These things are really stuck in there tight. Yeah, this the same way. Doesn't even want to move even a little bit. So, let them take a little hot tub swim here in the ultrasound tank. And hopefully things get cleaned up with a little wiggle and vibration. Here we go. Also, it's non-toxic cleaner in there. I don't want it stinking up my kitchen. Right now it's Gojo hand cleaner. It's a good degreaser, probably one of the best for cleaning off any surface. If it's greasy, Gojo will get it off of there. A little bit of vibration really works it in. We'll see what it does here, guys. Okay, been in the ultrasound for about an hour now. This thing come out looking wonderful. Looking real good. You can see this ring down here is actually loose now. It's loose and moving. Actually looks real good. Looks super nice, actually. That one's looking good. This one looks like it did come loose just a little bit. You can see where I was kind of prying on it just a little bit, trying to get at it. Before I put it in the ultrasound, it wouldn't move. Now it looks like it's going to move. It came out just a little bit. Yeah, it's moving for sure. Let me see if I can get this one up underneath it. Yeah, it's definitely moving now. All right, I think I'm going to put it back in the ultrasound. Let it do some more cooking and swimming. It's definitely working. Put her back in there and let her go for a little longer. Give her a little dunk. Close the lid. Put it on max here, which I'm not really sure what 480 means. I don't think it's seconds or minutes. It's just 480. So put it there. Let it cook some more. Okay, got the second set cooking in the ultrasound. Actually went ahead and tried. Both pistons do fit in there. You can hear it in there vibrating and cooking, counting down, doing the work that I can't do. Luckily they get in there and they do that tiny cleaning. Somehow, I'm not sure. Okay, but the first piston here was able to get it picked apart. The rings are looking real good now. Everything moves. Everything spins around. Luckily the ultrasound did an amazing job. Cleaned it up. Absolutely wonderful. Can't beat that thing, guys. Just wonderful. Second one here. Rings are still stuck in there, but I think I can pick them out. You can see it's a whole lot cleaner now. This one was the rusty one, essentially. You can see that looks like a mark up there on top. It is a mark, but it's just a stain. You can't actually feel it at all. There's no pits or there's no inclusions in the piston. So I think we should be good to go there. Gonna let that second set do some cooking. Get this first one, finish cleaning up this first one. It's looking wonderful. Then we'll move on to picking the rings apart on this second one. Good to go. Second set is done cooking here. They are looking wonderful. Ultrasound's doing its job over here. Ultrasound, it vibrates with the ultrasound, which is really what does the cleaning, but it also warms up. It warms up real good in there. You can see a little steam on the top here. Really, both of those in action with a little bit of cleaning solvents really does a wonderful job. So, went ahead and tossed the first set back in. Get them cleaned up just to make sure the ring lands on that first piston are good to go. And that second one, I went ahead and pried apart a little bit on the piston rings. And they're still kind of stuck down in there, so I went ahead and tossed them back in, see if they're going to come loose. I think they will. We should be good to go here shortly. Of course, got it turned off right now because it does make some noise. But everything's looking good. Everything's looking real good with the cleanup. So I think next, what we're going to next episode, we are gonna, let me flip this over here so you guys can get a little look. See, it's sitting here upside down right now. You can see I went ahead and pulled all the oil seals out. Also all cleaned up. Looking beautiful, actually. Looking real good. So, next episode, these piston rings are all going to get pulled out. They're going to get pushed in these cylinders with the piston top. Slide the ring in, push it down with the piston, make it flush with the cylinder, measure the ring gap. These ring gaps are going to need to get opened up for the boost. That is what we're going to focus on next. So, next episode, we're going to be pushing all the rings in, getting everything filed to fit, be good to go. Much more to come, like I always say. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Thanks all for watching. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much.
Just groove. A little more. Just groove out. Just groove out. Just groove out. Just groove out. It's just groove.